Tsale, it's story time. Today, I'm serving you Greco-Roman mythological tea, and it's steaming hot. Remember the hoopla surrounding one of the scenes from the 2024 Olympics opening ceremony in Paris, France? Yes, this is the scene I'm referring to. Many people thought that this was a disrespectful representation of the Last Supper, but the organizers of the ceremony debunked that assumption and said that the scene wasn't inspired by Christianity at all. In fact, they say the blue guy, yes, that blue guy, is rather a depiction of the Greek god of wine and festivities, Dionysus or Dionysus. So who exactly is Dionysus? Simply put, he's the son of a Greek god and a mortal woman. Yes, Dionysus has some interesting DNA, but this story time will focus on his maternal side. This is the opera Semele, composed by the OG of classical music, Georg Friedrich Handel. The opera premiered in 1744, and Handel raised a few eyebrows with this work. Apparently, he premiered Semele during the Christian reflective period of Lent. Audiences were expecting an oratorio that would capture the spirit of the sacred Lenten period. Instead, Handel gave them distinctly non-Christian subject matter, staged as though it were a sacred performance. So the oratorio lovers were confused because it was more like a secular opera, and the opera lovers were confused because it was performed like a typical oratorio without dramatic staging. Kind of like the 2024 Olympics opening ceremony, the opera was met with mixed reviews. Handel was shaking tables 280 years ago, okay? I know you're ready to hear more, but first of all, thank you so much for watching my videos. Please do like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let's engage. Now, let's get into the story. First, we're going to switch nationality here. In Greek and Roman mythology, they refer to the same beings with different names. So for instance, the Greek character Dionysus is referred to as Bacchus in Roman mythology. For the purposes of this synopsis, I'm going to use the Roman names because those are the names that Handel used in his opera. So from now on, Dionysus is Bacchus. Got it? Okay, here we go. Semele is a beautiful young princess. Semele is set to marry a young prince called Athamas, but she's just not into him at all. She keeps delaying the wedding, and no matter how much her father, King Cadmus, and her fiancé, Prince Athamas, keep trying to persuade her to go through with the wedding, she keeps coming up with excuses as to why she won't go through with it. As it turns out, Semele is in love with the king of the gods himself, Jupiter. Now, Jupiter really enjoys his kingly status. He has a wife, the goddess Juno, but King Jupiter loves women, goddesses and mortals alike. He's all over the place, planting his godly seeds everywhere. Womanizer of the highest order. And Princess Semele wishes to be his lover. This is why Semele has been refusing to marry Athamas. But finally, her dad and her husband-to-be have managed to get a wedding ceremony together. And Semele is reluctantly participating. She's about to marry a man she doesn't love. Meanwhile, Semele's sister, Ino, is also at the ceremony, and she's very upset because she is actually in love with Prince Athamas, and she wishes he would choose to marry her instead of her sister. Anyway, Semele is at the wedding, and she's praying to Jupiter to come and save her from this situation. And all of a sudden, here comes King Jupiter in all of his glory, descending from his throne in the skies, and interrupting the wedding. Now, all the mortals have to scatter at this point because remember, the presence of a real god in his true form can destroy a mortal. So Jupiter doesn't come too close, but he's close enough to cause havoc. Athamas is distraught because his wedding has been destroyed, but Ino is happy, and she finally confesses to Athamas that she's actually in love with him. She didn't waste time at all. Opportunity comes but once. During all of this confusion, Jupiter turns himself into an eagle. He swoops down, picks up Semele, and carries her off to become his new mistress. Now, Mrs. Jupiter, aka Queen Juno, has been tolerating Jupiter's philandering ways for eons. She knows him all too well, and she suspects that he has a new girlfriend. So she sends her trusted assistant, Iris, to investigate and report back to her. Iris fulfills her task and comes back to report to Juno, confirming her suspicions. So now Juno knows about Jupiter's relationship with Semele. Iris has even found out about the mansion that Jupiter has bought for Semele in an exclusive neighborhood. Juno is outraged. This time, she's had enough, and she wants to go and confront Semele. Iris says to Juno, sis, I love you, and in any other circumstance, I would be like, yo, I got your back. We ride at dawn. What's up? But King Jupiter has put some fierce dragons around Semele's mansion, so we can't even get close. Juno says, "Ah, Iris, are you doubting me? Your madame, goddess of goddesses, queen of the gods. Underestimate me at your own peril. I'm a queen. I don't sweat. I strategize." Juno devises a plan to breach the dragon security team, and she and Iris head off to fulfill that mission. In the meantime, Semele is loving her ethereal side chick status. She's feeling herself. I mean, a whole Jupiter is her sugar daddy. She's also the clingy kind of side chick, and she wants Jupiter to be with her all the time. Now, since Jupiter is a god, anytime he wants to visit Semele for matters of the flesh, he has to change into human form. And he usually changes into the form of a handsome young man. So Semele's obsession with him keeps growing, and she's demanding more of his time and attention and physical contact. You see, Jupiter no dey carry last. Jupiter is rocking her world. He starts to realize that if he isn't careful, he could actually kill her. You see, Jupiter's libido is too powerful for Semele to take in frequent doses. So he tries to explain to her that even though he transforms into human form to come and see her, in order for their relationship to survive, they have to take a bit of time apart. She's a mere mortal. She can't handle that much power. Semele doesn't like this idea at all, and she starts expressing a desire to become immortal, like Jupiter. King Jupiter is like, this girl is becoming a bit too obsessive. Maybe she needs someone to keep her company while I'm away in my palace in the sky. So he arranges for Semele's sister, Ino, to join her in her side chick mansion. He assures Ino that she'll enjoy being in the mansion. He's like, look, order some food, chill, hang out with your sister, keep her company for me. You'll really enjoy this mansion. The gardens are beautiful and there's all these lovely trees that are going to give you some nice shade. It's at this point in the opera that Jupiter sings the very popular aria, Where'er You Walk. So Ino agrees to be Semele's companion at the mansion, and they start their sister bonding sessions. While all of this is happening, Queen Juno and Iris pay a visit to the god of sleep, Somnus. Juno wants Somnus to give her a magical potion that will put the dragons to sleep and transform her, Juno, into Ino, that's Semele's sister, so that she can enter Side Chick City and deal with Semele. At first, Somnus is like, you this woman, why are you disturbing my sleep with this? Then Juno is like, Sir Somnus, I know you've had your eye on the beautiful nymph, Pasithea, for quite some time now. Somnus is like, hey, madame. He wipes the sleep from his eyes and he's like, yes, madame, how may I help you? And he produces the magical substance. Juno and Iris take the substance and they make their way to Side Chick City. Sister Semele, in her blissful bubble of mistress mansion life, is still complaining that Jupiter doesn't spend enough time with her. By this time, Juno has used the Somnus potion to put the dragons to sleep and to transform into Ino, Semele's sister. She enters Semele's room and starts feeding Semele exaggerated compliments about how her beauty has increased tremendously. Oh, Semele, your skin is glowing. Look at your hair. Look at how lustrous it is. Ooh, looks like you're more voluptuous these days. What has that man Jupiter been giving you? Sis, you're looking too good. The Jupiter is Jupiting. And she keeps going. She says, sis, this god man is just making you look too good. Imagine what would happen if you were to see him in his original form. I'm sure at that moment, you would become immortal like him, and you would transform into a goddess. Now, of course, we know that Semele, being a mere mortal, could not withstand the power and the presence of Jupiter in his true godly form. But Semele's vanity got the better of her, and she swallowed Juno's flattery like a glass of sweet red wine. Juno, realizing that her work is done, leaves Semele alone to daydream about transforming into an immortal goddess. Shortly thereafter, Jupiter comes to visit Semele in his human form. He is really ready to get intimate with Semele, but Semele keeps refusing. Jupiter is so desperate to have her. He's like, Semele, babe, I haven't seen you in a long time. Come on, what's all this? Semele is still stretching him, He's so desperate to have her that he vows he will do anything she asks of him. Semele says, aha! There's only one thing I want from you. She demands that he should appear in his full, true, godlike form at their next encounter. Jupiter knows that Semele would never survive such an encounter, but because he vowed that he would fulfill any request of hers, he had to stick to that promise. Imagine knowing that the next time you visit your girlfriend, your presence alone is going to cause her demise, and there's nothing you can do about it. Juno has been observing all of this from her goddess pedestal, and she is thrilled that her plan is working to perfection. Indeed, Semele's wish was granted. Jupiter visits her in his true godlike form, and it's just too much for Semele to handle. As he appears, he's accompanied by powerful thunderbolts. Semele is overcome by them. Before Semele dies, she expresses her regret and laments her foolish behavior. She's like, I had a handsome boyfriend, a pimped out mansion, all of the luxuries I could want in life, but it wasn't enough for me. And now, I am no more. Now, remember her husband-to-be, Athamas? Now, Athamas is like, whew, I dodged a bullet. Hey, Ino, come and let's get married. Yep, he ended up marrying Semele's sister after all. So Ino got her happy ending, and so did Athamas. So I'm sure you're wondering, so where is Bacchus in all of this, if Semele is his mother? It turns out that Semele was pregnant by Jupiter, and just as she was dying from Jupiter's thunder, the baby was born. And the god Apollo descended from the skies and named the baby Bacchus, and said that he would be the god of wine and pleasure. And that's how Bacchus, or Dionysus, was born. And everyone celebrates the good news, and the opera ends. And that is Handel's opera, Semele. Also, part of the Greco-Roman legend is that after Bacchus was born, when his mother died in the thunderbolt ashes or whatever, Jupiter took the baby Bacchus, placed him in his thigh, and sewed it up until it was time for Bacchus to be reborn. So Bacchus was born twice. All this drama from Greek mythology and opera. Cheers!